Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Pashwika, the channel where we talk a lot about making money online as a career person, as an artist. Well, in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to do the taxes for selling on a Zazzle as living outside of United States or outside of US, whatever you call it. So this is a part 2 of the video that we made the last week. If you haven't checked that video, I'm gonna leave that video in the comment section above. Make sure to check it out. So the part 1 was focusing on the taxes for the US citizens, for the people living in the United States. I have made that video already. I'm going to leave that video in the comment section above. This is a part 2 of that video in which I'm going to talk about the taxes for non-US people, talking about the forms and basic tax information. So let's dive in. Before go back, consider clicking like button, guys. I do really appreciate that. If you want more such video, consider subscribing, hit the bell icon. Whenever I'm gonna upload new videos, you're gonna get notified about it. Also, we have a lot of free cool resources to help you make more money. The links are in the description box below. If you are getting started with a Zazzle, a newbie, or looking forward for some kind of a tutorials, then I have a beginner kit, the Zazzle beginner kit, that contains step-by-step tutorials, in-depth tutorials on getting started with the Zazzle, everything that you need in tutorials, along with the PDF checklist. The link is in the description box below. If you want a planner, a workbook to plan your shop and to sell, then we have a Zazzle PDF planner workbook as well. The link of both these stuffs are in the description box below. You make sure to check it out, and depending on whichever one you need, you can very well grab it. Anyway, guys, let's dive in with today's video. So we're going to be talking about the different forms that you need to fill and what exactly you need to do. So first of all, you're going to go into your Zazzle account, the payment settings, and there you need to select your country, whichever country you live in, whether in European countries, Asia, Australia, outside of the US, Canada, Brazil, or South American countries, African countries, wherever you are living. Just select your country. You have selected your country of resident, right? Now again, there's gonna be another step that you need to fill in, whether you are a citizen of the United States or you are a non-US citizen. So if you are a citizen of the United States and living outside of the US, then the things will going to be the same for you, which I mentioned in my previous week's video. That is the part 1. I'm gonna leave that video in the comment section above. Then that video I talk about, you have to mention your SSN, EIN, or you have to mention the different details about your US citizenship living outside of the United States, and you have to fill the form 1044 SR and all that form. So make sure you check it out. That video is in the comment section above. But if you are a person living outside of the United States and a non-US citizen, then you have to fill the form W8 form. Now, depending on whether you are an individual, a corporation, a partnership, or LLC, or whatever kind of like a business entity you have in your own country of residence, then the form will going to vary. But basically, they are having a W8 form if you are a non-US person living in the outside the United States and a non-US citizen. So let's talk about these forms and how you're gonna fill it. I'll just gonna cover the base. That I have a big disclaimer. Everything that I'm gonna be mentioning over here are entirely based on my experience and knowledge so far. I did my research on that, okay? If you want really a detailed, in-depth help, then make sure you contact the tax consultant or expert in this area, because I'm not a tax consultant and expert. I'm just talking based on my research. So please take my advice with a grain of salt and contact the respective people in this particular area for more in-depth information. Anyway, guys, let's dive in. I'm gonna talk about the W8 form that you need to fill out. Zazzle is required to supply a 1042S tax form to international creators and associates. So for the US citizen, it was 1099 form the Zazzle was providing. For the people living outside of the United States, non-US citizen, you're gonna be getting a form 1042S tax form to your residential address, which will going to be used for paying the taxes in your own specific country. So the 1042S form is an informational form detailing any monetary amounts given to a person who does not have a US Social Security number, SSN, or EIN. We're going to deliver this particular form at your own address, okay? The next thing I'm going to talk about the W8 forms, because there are the W8BEN form, W8BN form. So different kinds of the form that you need to fill depending on what kind of business entity you are having outside of the United States in your own specific country. Whether you are an individual or whether you are an LLC, partnership, corporation in your own specific country. W8 forms are used to determine the appropriate tax withholding rate that should be applied on the payments Zazzle sent to non-resident creators an associate that is a non-US people. Once your W-8 form is approved, Zazzle can start paying you either at the default 30% withholding rate imposed by the IRS, or if your country is having a low tax treaty rate with the United States, then that particular tax rate will going to apply. So when you're filling the W-8BEN form, make sure to check it out whether your country specifically is having a treaty with the United States or not. If they are not having a treaty, then you have to pay the 30% of the withholding tax on your royalties. But if you are having a tax treaty with your country, the US is having a tax treaty, then depending on that particular tax rate, you're gonna be paying taxes to the US government. Okay, now there are the different forms, so let's talk about that. So there are 4 or 5 different types of the W-8 forms, okay, but you have to only take into the account the 2 different kinds of the form, one for the individual and one for the business entities like the LLC, partnership, corporation, non-profit organization or association or whatever it is. So when you are selecting in the payment settings your resident country, your citizenship, and then you are selecting whether you are an individual or any corporation or any business entity, the Zazzle will automatically going to tell you to download that specific form. So if you are an individual or a sole proprietorship who is just a simple designer selling on the Zazzle, then make sure you select the individual if you don't have a business entity in your own country. And then the Zazzle will going to tell you to download the W-8BEN form and fill that form and send them via the fax or via the email. Okay, you can do it depending on whichever route you choose. Most common route is via the email. And once they're gonna review your form, if it's approved, then you're gonna get paid every single month depending on your income threshold on the Zazzle. But if you are a non-individual, non-sole proprietorship, that means you are a business entity, then you might have to fill the form W-8BEN-E form. So this is a second different form. If you are having a business entity, you are not a sole proprietorship. Okay? So some of the things are very simple. Some of the things you need to do a little bit more research depending on your specific country. But before that, make sure you check out the IRS website to know about whether your country is having any kind of a tax treaty with the United States or not. Otherwise, you have to pay the taxes 30%. So if you're having a tax treaty 10% to 15%, 20%, then you have to pay the less taxes. So check the IRS website for tax treaty rate so that you don't have to pay 30%. That is a lot of the taxes. Okay, so let's talk about the W-8BEN form and how to fill a one. Basically, the 3 parts are there in the W-8BEN form. It's a 1-page form, very simple. The first part, the first column you have over here is the name of the people. That means your name. The second column is the country of citizenship, where you are having the citizenship in whatever country you are, like your country citizenship, right? The third one is your address. You have to mention your complete residential address with the city, town, pin code, postal code, whatever it is, please mention correctly. The fourth column is the mailing address. If it is a different from the residential address, then mention your mailing address. If it's the same, then leave that column blank. Then the fifth option you are having is the US taxpayer identification number, SSN or ITN. Okay, since you're a non-US people, you are living outside of the United States, you don't have these numbers, so leave this column empty, the blank. Then move to the second column, another column, that's a 6A and 6B. So 6A is for foreign tax identification number. So you would be having a foreign tax ID number in your own specific country. You would be paying taxes in your country. If you are having a job in your country or whatever it is, you must be having a tax number or tax ID in your own specific country. So make sure you mention that number over here. Then the 6B is check if the FTIN not legally required. This thing you have to check, but I think most of the people you have to leave it blank. Again, it depends, guys, and contact the tax consultant in this area. The seventh column, you have a reference number. See the instructions if you have any kind of a reference number. If not, leave it blank. Then eighth is the last part of the part 1 is you have to mention your date of birth. You can do that. The second part of the form is the claim of the tax treaty benefits. This is the most important part of the W-8BEN form, so don't mislead the information and do your proper research whether your country is having any tax treaty with the United States or not. So you need to certify, you have to mention your name over there, and then there are the special rates and conditions. You need to mention the article and paragraph, how much percent is the tax rate is there if you're having a tax treaty, and then you have to mention all the eligible for the rate of withholding. You have to mention the stuff. Now you're gonna get this particular information on the IRS website only, so make sure you visit the IRS website, go to the tax treaty center and look at your specific country and see whether your country is having a tax treaty or not, and what's mentioned in the tax treaty, what are the different paragraphs and what are the different words or sentences mentioning over there. So make sure you copy that particular stuff from IRS website and mention them. This is the second part of the W8BEN form, because this part is the most important and crucial, so make sure you don't make any mistake. If you're confused, check the IRS website. If you're still confused, then get the help from your tax consultant or accountant, that they might help you because they are a tax person. But you have to work out your stuff over here. The third part of the W8BEN form is the certification, where you need to certify. Click over to that checkbox. Make sure you check the IRS website for knowing about the tax treaty. Do your research. Again, I'm going to leave a link of the tax treaty rate for your specific country on the IRS website in the description box below, because I've checked the Zazzle website and they were actually having a link to the IRS website where you're gonna see your tax treaty rate with the United States or not. I'm gonna leave that link in the description box below. Make sure you check it out. Click on that link and go to the IRS website, and depending on your specific country, check out your tax treaty rate and check out the paragraphs and the article, and make sure you get that specific sentence from that particular article and mention in this form. So this is the part of the form for which I've been getting a lot of the requests, guys. But again, whichever part of the world you live in, the things will going to vary, whether you are living in Asia, Europe, or Australia, whatever country you are living, whatever city, state, town you are living, it will going to vary. So you have to check the IRS website. So please do that. I'm going to leave the link of the tax treaty IRS website link in the description box below. Make sure you check it out. So that was the W8BEN form for the people who are an individual or sole proprietorship selling on the Zazzle. Let's talk about the W8BEN form for the people who are having a business entity in their own specific country, whether an LLC, partnership, or whatever it is. So for the W8BEN form, again, they are having some stuffs are similar, but some stuffs are different. So first of all, you're having a name of your organization, since you're having a business entity, so you have to mention that name. Then the country, wherever you have incorporated that particular business entity. Then the name of the disregarded entity receiving the payment. Then you are having these few check boxes where you're actually talking about the status of your business entity, whether it's a simple trust, corporation, partnership, tech exempt, organization, complex trust, whatever it is, mention and select that specific business entity that you have formed in your own specific country. So depending on that, you have to select that particular checkbox. Then in the fifth part, you're having the status of the FATCA status. Now again, for the specific thing, you have to go to the IRS website, because I'm not sure, I'm not filling this particular form, so I'm not sure what exactly you need to fill over here. But make sure you look at the entity application status over here and you fill according to it. Whether you are participating in FFI, whether you are having a reporting model 1 FFFI or reporting model 2 FFI, there is a lot of the different checkboxes are there. So depending on your FATCA status, you have to select this particular checkbox. Make sure you go to the IRS website for detail. Then you are having a permanent residence address. Mention your address, city, town, country, postal code. Your mailing address, if it's different from the above, make sure you mention that too as well. You have the other boxes over here. You have to mention your foreign TIN number, foreign tax ID number, or GIN number, okay, depending on your business entity. Then you have to mention over your disregarded entity or branch receiving payment. You have to select the FATCA status, the address of the disregarded entity, country, entire stuff. Then you have to again claim for the tax treaty benefits. So again, here the tax treaty benefits are there. If your country is having any tax treaty with the United States, you have to mention that tax treaty rate over here. Make sure you check it out, the IRS website for that. I'm gonna leave the link in the description box below. Then you have a sponsored FFI or not. Then you have a certified deemed compliant non-registering local bank, certified deemed compliant FFI with only low value accounts, certified deemed compliant sponsored closely held investment vehicle, certified deemed compliant limited life debt investment entity, certain investment entities that do not maintain financial accounts, owner documented FFI is continued, then the restricted distributor, then non-reporting IGA FFF, This is the form that you have to fill depending on whether you are an individual or whether you are any business entity. For individual, W8BEN form. For business entity, W8BENE form. Okay, you have to fill this form and then you need to send in an email or via fax to the Zazzle. Once they're gonna review it, they're gonna approve it, and then you're gonna receive your payout every single month from the Zazzle. And after the 1 calendar year has been over, you're gonna receive the form 1042S form. That's a text form from the Zazzle on your mailing address, and then you can use this text form to actually pay the taxes in your own specific country. Now again, wherever you are living, you have to pay the taxes in your home country as well, and you have to pay the taxes to the US as well. So that's the 2 taxes you have to fill. So you have to fill the W8BEN form by which the Zazzle actually paying the taxes on your behalf to the US government, and then you are receiving the form 1042S at your mailing address, and then you can include this form to pay the taxes in your own specific home country. So this is an entire video for a non-US people living outside of the United States, non-US citizens. Hopefully you find this video useful. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you want more such videos, or any video request is really welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm gonna see you in the next video with a new amazing topic. Till then, take care. Bye guys.